Park's Lake Lanier Olympic Rowing Park Sprint Triathlon that is happening this Saturday. This is the pre-race briefing. I'm going to go through kind of step by step everything going on, and then if you have questions, the goal here is to make you feel comfortable on Saturday. So if you have questions about what we're talking about, raise your hand, unmute. You can ask questions. We'll also at the end, after I go through everything, have a whole space where we can answer any question you want. So the idea is you walk out of here like, okay, I got my questions answered. It doesn't seem so scary. I'm ready to rock and roll. So I'm very, very excited for this race. Try the Parks is amazing races, very, very beginner friendly, but also they're just high quality, great races. So as I've traveled the world and done a bunch of races, Try the Parks is right up there with the race experience. Plus it's like, local, which is really nice. Introduce myself a little. First off, agenda. I'll talk about me really quick. We'll go through pre-race. We'll walk through each step of the race, talk about tips, and then answer any questions you have. We have Ben Carr on here. He's one of the race directors. So if I say anything wrong, he'll pop up and say, Alex, actually, that's totally wrong. So, which I might say. So who knows? So introduce myself. So I'm Alex Fuller. I am a current pro triathlete. I'm racing 70.3 Eagleman this Saturday. So I won't be at this Try the Parks race, sadly. I'll be up in Maryland racing with Christian Blumenfeld and Lionel Sanders. I'll let you guess who will beat who. I don't know. We'll see. It probably won't be me, right? But I've been racing pro for a couple years. Before that, I've raced all the Try the Parks races many years in a row. I've won the series a couple times. And so I can give you the insider information on what the races are like, especially this one. It's one of my favorite. And just talk through, from very beginner to, any questions you have. I started racing triathlon 8 or 9 years ago. I could barely make it around the block. I didn't know how to swim and I fell off my bike all the time. So from beginner to pro, we can talk about anything you want here. I have 3 kids. And I'm up in Cumming, Alpharetta area. So that's a little bit about me. But let's talk about you guys. So I actually didn't do a poll this time. So this is the poll from last year's race, but it's just an idea of who is going to be at the race. And so you have maybe a fifth of the people that responded to this that said, yeah, I've raced this exact race before. Awesome. Welcome back. Good job, guys. You have about a fifth that says, hey, I've done other Try the Parks races, but I haven't done this one. And then the majority of people, at least the ones that came to the webinar last year, they had never done any of the Try the Parks races before. And so I think actually there's a lot of people that have never done a triathlon before, which is awesome. This is of all the races, this is the perfect one to have as your first race. So have no fears. We'll talk through everything. We'll answer all the questions, that kind of thing. But it's very beginner friendly. It's a great course, a lot of fun. But it's the real deal. You're not like swimming in a pool or anything like that. So we'll be sure to walk through everything step by step, and you can answer any questions. So pre-race. So we'll talk about the next few days. This is my recommendation for what to do. Tomorrow, Wednesday, I would sort out all my gear, get everything ready. This is a free website that I legit use for my packing list. There's lots of packing lists out there, but this one's a great one. But get everything sorted out so that if something is missing, you have a day or two to order it or run by all 3 sports, that kind of thing. So Wednesday, I would get everything laid out. Thursday, you can pick up the packet at Podium Multisport if you want. And I would no hard workouts Thursday or Friday, kind of rest, recover, and getting ready for Saturday. Friday, pack everything up, get it in the car, and go to bed early. Depending where you live, you could be staying in a hotel to be a little closer. Normally, if you're in the Atlanta metro area, I just drive there the morning of, even if it's waking up a little earlier. That's easier than in a hotel, but whatever logistics you got to do. So that's kind of my recommendation for the next few days. Then we get to race morning. So race morning, first off, weather. It's looking pretty good. Looks around race start, it'll be 70 degrees ish. By the end of the race, probably mid to high 70s, 80s. So it's going to get hot. There is a chance of rain. It looks like most of the rain chance is in the afternoon, so I wouldn't anticipate rain. If it is raining, the race will go on unless there's lightning. If there is lightning, they will delay it, and different procedures like that. I don't foresee any of that happening based on the forecast. It mostly is going to be a nice toasty day, and so I dress accordingly. So race morning, I wake up, I would fuel, get some food in me right away, and then drive to the race. Be sure you're pumping some good music to stay awake. I like to have lots of time in the morning to get everything ready. So I think the race starts at 8 a.m. Like around there. Yeah. So I try to get there 6 a.m., 6:30 maybe. I get a good parking spot. I'm not rushed at all. I have plenty of time to kind of get everything. So that's my recommendation. If you show up later, like 7:30, that gets really tight and it gets stressful. So wake up early. It's worth it. It's worth losing a little bit of sleep. Get there right when transition opens, and then you have plenty of time to sort everything out and just hang out and chill. There's lots of parking options, both on the side where the finish line is. There's also a parking lot right across the street, and there's a tunnel. So there's really no bad parking spots. You're not going to be walking, half a mile or anything like that. So ample parking. There'll be people people helping you park, like directing you where to go. So that's nice and easy. And so that's straightforward. When I get there, I like to go to the bathroom right away. I'm getting nervous bathroom, so I'll go like a couple times before race. So I'll go right when I get there, and then I'll go I'll wash my hands, pick up my packet if I haven't picked it up already, and then I'll get my timing chip. In order to get your timing chip, you need to show your race bib. And so if you pick up your packet, it's no big deal. That's super easy. If you had picked up your packet a couple days before, remember to grab your race bib, show them, and they'll give you your timing chip. That timing chip you'll put around your left ankle, the left ankle, because it's easier for the bike. A lot of your bike mechanics is on the right, so recommend on the left. You just put it on the ankle, and that's your timing chip, and you wear it throughout the race, and they'll take it off at the end of the race. You get a sticker to put on your bike. My pro recommendation is to have some scissors to kind of like cut the sticker and put it on your bike easier, but that's not required. What to wear? What do I wear? So ideally you have a tri-kit. If this is your first race and you're like, I don't want to buy a tri-kit, those are expensive. Totally cool. Like a swimsuit can work. I've seen a guy do it in a tiny Speedo. It was a joke and I made fun of him, but hey, he did it, right? So, maybe not the guys, maybe not Speedo, maybe wear something more, whatever. But I wouldn't do it like any like jeans or anything like that, because that's some bad chafing. So just, you're going to be swim, bike, run, wear appropriate clothes. You can change clothes in transition, but there's no like privacy tent or anything. So you'd have to get really creative with a towel. Most people find something they can wear through the entire thing. So that's a question I get sometimes. So my routine, I show up, bathroom, pick up timing chip, set up my transition area. We'll talk about that in a second. I'll get some chamois cream on, and then I'll get my race kit on if I'm not wearing it already. Bathroom again, kind of chill out for a while. As we head into random alert, as we get ready, I'll warm up a little bit as we close to the race. So maybe a half hour out. I might do a little jogging to get it kind of warmed up, and then I'll head towards the swim, try to be down there by the beach about 10-15 minutes before start. You can do a little bit of pre-race swimming. It's very easy and accessible, kind of up to you whether you want to do that or not. Then you line up by your race number and by your cap color. So everyone will have different color swim caps. I think the first one's usually red. I don't know. It kind of depends, whatever it is. But then you kind of like everyone will get a race number. Like it's their bid number 1, 2, 3, 4 through 100, 200, whatever. And the way it's set up, it's kind of seated or like positioned by your estimated swim time. When you registered, you probably put in, I think I can swim a 400 in this time or whatever. So we try to seed people like fastest to slowest estimated swim time. That way there's minimal running into each other, but it's also flexible. So like, if I'm number 12 and number 11's behind me, like it's not a big deal. Like number 11 might want to jump in front, but a lot of times people are like, I don't care where I go. I'm just going to go to the end. Yeah, you can go to the end. No big deal. Jump in wherever you want. But, general guideline, line up according to your number. And, if you put the wrong number in if you put the wrong time in and you're like, I'm number 1 and there's no way I'm actually faster than everyone here, no big deal. Just jump back in line. This is a chill, good race. This is fun, supportive, team kind of environment. And then they're kind of grouped by cap colors as well. So that'll kind of help like, hey, if I'm wearing a yellow cap, I'm probably going to start around the same time as the other yellow caps. And that helps the organization. So that's kind of all up to about 10 minutes before race start. You do have to set up transition before you go down to the race start. So there will be racks, like metal racks that you put your bike on, and I'll show another picture in a minute. Next to your bike, you put your bike shoes and your helmet. You can have your bike shoes clipped into your bike, or you have them in the side, or like right there. And then you also have your run shoes, your bib with your number, your race belt with a number, and then like sunglasses, a hat, or whatever. So this is a picture of transition for me, where I have my bike here. I got my helmet ready to flip on. I'll put on my bike shoes, and then I'll take my bike to the mount line. Everything else I keep in like a bag, like my other stuff that I don't need, and then I can put that like outside of transition, just like by a tree or something. If you have family or friends cheering for you, you can leave it with them. And I just use that like for my phone or other clothes I'm having. I just kind of throw it in a bag over on the side. So transition set up. I have everything ready. I'm ready to go, and we're going to start the swim in just a minute. Right before it starts, the race director is going to get on the microphone with some speakers and go over the race briefing. He's going to read, like with your packet, you get a piece of paper that kind of goes over the course and some important kind of everything we're kind of covering now, as well as some rules from USAT. But they're going to go over that race briefing. Sometimes that's kind of hard to hear. So if it's your first time, you want to hear it, get close to the speaker to listen to that. It's what's in your packet, so you can also just read through that. The referee will jump on and kind of remind a couple rules. We normally talk about safety and not drafting, that kind of thing. There'll be a national anthem, which is really cool. They'll do a pre-race prayer, and then they'll say, hey, we'll start in 4 minutes or better. There'll be a 2 to 5 minute countdown. And then they'll count down and they'll say ready, like go, and sometimes a loud noise or whatever. And the first person will go, and it's a rolling start, right? So one person will go every 5 seconds, and it takes about 15 minutes to get everyone out into the water, which I'll talk about in a minute. So this is kind of what it looks like. Here's the swim for Lake Lanier. It's kind of rocky, and so they're really nice. They put like some mats, so the race starts easy. It's no big deal. Like they have the mats, but if you're going to do like a swim warm up beforehand, just be careful. Maybe bring some flip flops, because it is kind of a rocky beach that you're walking on. So the swim. So you wait in line. You see people every 5 seconds go in front of you. It's your turn. They'll kind of count down. When I was out there last, they had like a little phone app that counted down. It was great. And you go off, and you are off on the swim. This is the map from my swim from a couple years ago. It's the same course. You start here on the giant stadium place for the rowing park. You swim out to a buoy. You turn right, and when you turn right, you're gonna sight. There'll be a big buoy over here you're gonna sight off of, but I also just sight off the bridge. So you're swimming like straight towards the bridge, which is a really nice, easy thing to see. The light, the sun's not in your face. It's great. So you swim towards that buoy. You make another hard right turn, and you go into the boat ramp that you'll see right by transition, and you run up and get on your bike. So very, very straightforward swim. It takes, it took me 10 minutes. And it's, you're out, turn right, straight, turn hard right, and then you're back in. Sometimes coming back into the boat ramp, sometimes the sun can be in your face. You're kind of facing east a little bit, but it's not too bad. So just kind of swim straight, swim after whoever's in front of you. And as you get closer, you'll be able to see just fine. So It's potentially wetsuit legal. I was looking at different water temperatures. It's anywhere from 74 to 79 degrees, depending where you measure in Lake Lanier. I think 78 is the cutoff, or 76, one of those two.
78 is correct.
78. I I lament because now that I race pro, the cutoff's 72. So like we never wear wetsuits. I'm so jealous. But yeah, 78. So it I don't know. I'd say most years it's not wetsuit legal, but it was a couple years ago. So it's kind of just whatever the tides of the lake say that day.
I think it'll depend on how much more rain we get this week.
Yes, yeah, exactly. If you do have a swim skin, you can use that. If you don't have one, definitely don't worry about buying it. I'm not even convinced that on such a short swim, it's worth the time to take it off in transition. But hey, if you got it, you can use it. No big deal. And again, every 5 seconds we send someone out, and this is what it looks like. Everyone's kind of lined up, and you go off. So that's the swim. It's straightforward. It's great. There's not going to be waves or anything. Nice. They have people all along the route. If for some reason you need help, you can raise your hand, and there will be people in kayaks, that kind of thing. You can, if you need to, you can take a break and hang on to a kayak, and as long as they don't move you forward, that's fine. That's legal. I'd say rarely people have problems with this swim. It's nice and easy. So
the buoys are also an option as well. If you're near one of those and you just need a break, you can hang on to that.
Hang on to the buoy. Yep, absolutely. You can do any stroke, backstroke, butterfly. Well, I would not recommend butterfly. Breaststroke. Most people do freestyle and just sight on it. So we can talk about that if you have more questions, but I'll move on to transition. So you come up that boat ramp and you run into where all the bikes are. And this is what it looks like. This is in the morning before the race starts. But, and sometimes there's the Wiggly Man guy at the swim exit. That's my favorite thing to sight off. That's the best thing this race has. Well, one of the many things. I love the little Wiggly Man.
That was Alex's suggestion. We've used it and enjoyed it, so it definitely helps sight.
Yeah, it's easy to sight off. I love it. So you come up, and the bike racks are numbered, so you'll have your number. So I'm number 50. I will have racked my bike on a little sticker that said, or a section that says, for bikes 45 to 50. I just have to rack my bike somewhere on that place. It doesn't necessarily need to be in order. Usually it is. But that helps where all the bikes go. I'll run down and find my bike. Now, important, first off, I want to take off my cap. I want to take off my goggles. If I am wearing my wetsuit, take that off. And I want to put it all under the rack, right by my bike, not impeding anyone's process, or not in the aisle or anything like that to get in people's way. So throw everything there. And then important is to put on your helmet and snap it before I ever touch the bike. That's a USA Triathlon rule, new within the last few years, but it's just a safety thing of hey, if you're even touching your bike, you need your helmet on. So first thing first, put your helmet on, snap it, throw on your bike shoes, and then you're going to walk or kind of hobble your bike to the mount line. If you're in the relay, that's where you hand off the timing chip. And I'll show what the mount line. So there will be this is a different race, but this is what the mount line looks like. There will be some white tape on the ground, and then a little sign that says mount here. So you walk your bike past the mount line, the whole bike's across it, then you can get on it and go on the bike. Now, when you come back, you have to stop before that line and get off and walk into transition. Again, that's a safety thing that make sure we're not riding around in transition. So once you pass the mount line, it'll be straightforward. You'll see it when you get there. Then you get on and go. So the bike course. So here's the bike course. It's a lollipop route. So you're going to come out of the parking lot, kind of go up the little hill up the parking lot, turn right, and then you're going to go up a big long hill. So if you look over here in the green, it's this elevation. Like the first half of the bike is uphill, and it's Georgia, and so it's kind of rolling up hills. It's not bad. It's not like a mountain, but just this isn't flat. I am it's a couple degrees up. So you start here and you go up, and right around here is when you start getting like rollers rather than just uphill. So like the first couple miles, it feels like, oh, this is a lot of work. Spoiler alert, coming back on the last couple miles, it's a blast because you're all downhill till the end. But the first couple, a little harder, your heart rate's up there. You go up, and then at the edge, you turn left. You turn left again, and then you'll turn right, and then you'll come back down. Yeah, up, left, and then right, and then back down, and then turn left back in here. There are sheriff people or police officers at each major intersection and each turn, as well as volunteers telling you to turn, as well as signs. There'll be a sign every 2 miles saying mile 2, mile 4, mile 6, and then there'll be signs to turn of like triathlon and then an arrow left or whatever when it's a left turn. So very, very easy. You don't need, you're not going to get lost. It's very straightforward. And it's just up and around, nothing too crazy. Some suggestions on the bike. So they're up the hill out of transition. It's a little steep. Be sure your bike is in a low gear. If you're in a high gear, that's going to be really hard. So just when you wreck your bike, make sure you're in a low gear. First 3 miles are decently uphill, and then left turns are all marked really well. Sometimes there's traffic. So these are not totally closed roads. We do block the intersections, but you do get once in a while a car driving on the roads. It's rural Georgia, so it's rare. It's not a lot, but occasionally it happens. So just be aware of that. They will usually follow a bunch of bikers, and they won't try to pass until it's safe most times. It's people, people live around here, so it's just people going about their day on Saturday morning. But be careful, right? Still be safe. Don't, just because you're racing doesn't mean you need to forget all the rules of the roads, that kind of thing. The first half of the bike, at least for me, your heart rate will be very, very high. Probably the highest it'll be the entire race, because you just got out of the swim, you ran your bike, and you rode uphill for a bunch of miles. So just be aware of that. Expect that it'll settle down in the back half of the bike, which is good to know. For anyone that wants to talk aero, I recommend an aero water bottle in the front. I would probably take 1 water bottle with me. You can do it without anything. It's not a big deal. But, if you have one, it's good to get a little hydration. I don't think you necessarily need any other fuel, but 1 bottle could be nice. The last 3 miles, you are flying downhill. It is so much fun. You're flying. It's a blast, especially if you're in aero. You're hitting like 30 plus miles an hour. But as you get towards the dam and as you see the lake, you'll know, hey, I'm going to turn left here soon. So be sure to slow way down. And then even when you turn in, you're going to go downhill into the parking lot. You got to slow down more before that dismount line. So just be on that. Be really careful. You're going to have to squeeze your brakes pretty hard, and then make sure you dismount before the dismount line. So that's the bike.
Let me jump in there real quick, Alex.
Yes. Yeah.
2 things. Make sure you don't turn just because there's a sheriff. Look for the volunteer who is also directing you, because you are going to pass 1 sheriff on a left turn before you actually make your first left turn. And then secondly, he's going to talk about this in the run course, but we are doing a northbound lane closure for the run course this year, which we think will drastically improve the amount of traffic, if you've done this race before, going northbound with you. And because you're coming back at a relatively high speed, it's not as big a deal coming back either. So just want to make sure we got to say that, because we're really excited about the new run course. So
I know. Yeah, I'm getting to that. I'm so excited for it. All right. Other bike rules. So this is a non-drafting race. So you want to keep 6 bike lengths between you and the bike in front of you, or 12 meters. And the idea is just not to have unfair advantage drafting behind someone, especially if you're like competitive in your age group. Be sure to abide by that. If you're like, hey, this is my first race, I don't know what I'm doing, just be aware that's a rule. I don't think, it's not a big deal it is a big deal. It is an important rule, but don't stress about it. No headphones. That's a safety thing at any part of the race, swim, bike, or run. If you're passing someone, you pass on the left. And once you enter into that draft zone, so that 12 meters behind them, you have 25 seconds to get in front of them. And then and then if you're passed, you have a responsibility within 25 seconds to get out of draft zone, just moving backwards. So, yeah, we can go into that if you have more details. It's usually not a big deal. It's not, this isn't like Ironman where you have hundreds of miles and big draft packs or anything. So, that is some of the rules to talk about. And then here's some pictures. This is, I don't know, it's hard to tell, but there's like a big downhill right in front of this guy. So he's going to have to slam on the brakes before he dismounts. Again, that's the mount and dismount line, or this is a separate race. So it doesn't look exactly like this, but that's what it'll look like. Then we get to transition to T2. So dismount before the line, then walk or run your bike to your spot, rack it on the rack, and you can see the racks right there. That's exactly what they look like, and they'll have a little paper that every 5 numbers or so is in a rack, so you just put your bike on there. Once your bike is racked, I'm doing some tongue twisters here, then you can unsnap your helmet, take that off, put that down, switch your shoes, put on a number belt. We'll talk about number belts in a second. If you have a hat and some glasses, you can throw them on. If it's a relay, hand off the timing chip, and then go out onto the run. I will talk about race belts. For a lot of people, if this is your first race, you may not have this. This is something that is usually in high demand right before race. It's basically just a big piece of elastic and with a couple things that you hold your race belt number on. See if I have a picture. All right. Nope, I don't have a picture. Whatever. All right. But this is what it is. Like, this is an example from all 3 sports. It's like $19. If you look on Amazon and order today, you can probably get it before the race. They're like $10 or less. It's really just, the idea is rather than having to like pin on a number, which is an option that they have safety pins. You can just hurry and buckle it on, then you got your race number. So something to consider. And then we're off on the run. And this is the new run course. It is a nice flat course. For people who have done this race before, we used to run across the bridge and then turn into this neighborhood, which was fun, but it was like uphill and felt like you're running hill repeats, and it was brutal. But now we get to run along the bridge and then on this nice flat road, 1.5 miles out, and then we turn around and run 1.5 miles back, and then you turn right and go around the parking lot and come into the finish line, and you'll have a blistering fast 5K time because you didn't have to do hill repeats through the neighborhood. So I'll read what I was sent. So run course, you exit transition near the boat ramp, you run around the parking lot and turn left onto that road, Clark's Bridge Road. You'll remain on the left lane, where that's the one that's, so you'll remain on the left. That's where it is. The lane is closed to traffic, and you'll run all the way out, and then you'll stay in that lane. There'll be cones. You turn around and come back, and then you run kind of the same way back into transition, or around the parking lot into the finish line. So there's a big blue finishing arch. So Ben, additional details. What I miss?
Yeah, just a round transition. You won't re-enter transition. You'll come around it. We'll have our lane running all the way around it, and then up onto the plaza where we finished before. Also, if you've done this race before, you had to go through the tunnel, and that was always awkward, going through the other parking lot and going through the tunnel. And if there was pedestrians trying to use the tunnel at the same time, it made it kind of difficult. So we've eliminated the tunnel. Again, it's out and back. And again, having that lane closed, no northbound traffic other than anybody coming out of a neighborhood. So while you're climbing that hill, you should see very few cars.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited about that. We used to run through this other parking lot. Yeah, it was kind of awkward, especially like later in the race. You'd have people like moving their cars, but people are still racing, and you're running. You're kind of like, I mean, I see some cones. I think I'm on the right path. So
anyway, very, very. This will be a lot more obvious.
Yeah, this will be great. It'll be exciting. So I'm excited for this flat out and back. It'll be great. There is water stations right out there. So there will be water on the race to get. This is the bridge that you run across. You can also see here, going back to the swim, this is one of the buoys for the swim. So this is the second one where you do a hard right turn back into the boat ramp. So you swimming towards it, you're sliding off the bridge. And then later, this is, you're running across the bridge and you just stay on that road. The lane will be blocked off. So that'll be awesome. Then the finish. So over here, that is what the finish line looks like. It'll be a blue arch. Hopefully no one's standing in the way like in this picture. You'll just blow up there and they'll announce your name and you can celebrate. It'll be great. There's usually snacks afterwards, so like banana, orange, chips, Oreos, water. It's enough to get like some calories. It's not a full meal. So if you're gonna like, and awards usually take place like 10:30, 11. So might be worth packing like a, post race something a little heavier to supplement the snacks. There will be a beer truck there at 9:30 a.m. The John Gerard Foundation, they have an event later that evening. So that's kind of cool. So they'll be there to check that out. I have here at noon. It's earlier than that. Awards are usually like 10:30, 11 once most everyone's finished. And then really after you finish, like it's a great time to just talk to other athletes, talk about, man, that was so fun or awful or hard or whatever. And just, it's a good community. So I love it because I just hang out and talk to people after and have a lot of fun. There's decent shade in the tree. If you have family coming, which I highly encourage, there's great places to spectate around the finish line and around transition. But I will say, like, I have young kids, and so it's important to like bring sidewalk chalk or bubbles or something to like keep them entertained, because when I'm off like riding my bike or whatever, that gets kind of boring. So bring chairs, bring activities, and then you can cheer when you see them. Around 10 o'clock, most everyone will be done with the bike, so you could grab your bike and stuff out in transition, load that up. Normally there's a race photographer there. Nicole, she's awesome, and she'll take a bunch of pictures. She tries to get one or two pictures of everyone, and then she'll upload them usually within 24 hours. There'll be an email from Try the Parks with a link to everything. You can purchase them, or you can just check them out, whatever, that kind of thing. And then as you post on Instagram, be sure to tag Try the Parks and tell about how you crushed them. So that's kind of the overall kind of walkthrough. I'll get to questions in just a minute. If you have other questions that we didn't hit today, hit me up on Instagram. I'm Alex Fuller Try. I normally like mute my Instagram all week to focus on work, but I have notifications on. So if you have any questions, hit me up. I'm happy to answer anything. If you're like, hey, this is kind of fun and addicting, I'd love to have a coach teach me more. I work with Rock Multisport. I'm an assistant coach, but Lizzie Nitre, who's another pro triathlete, she coaches me, and she's taking on new people all the time. So if you're like, hey, this is kind of fun, I'd love to go to the next level, check out Rock Multisports. All three sports, they sponsor me and they sponsor this race. They consolidated their location. So it's now just Podium Multisports. So down in Atlanta. So that's where Packet Pickup is. And also if you need any last minute gear, hit them up. And then also Try the Parks. They're a great organization. They do a lot of cool stuff. They got a lot of cool merch. So if you're my Try the Parks hoodie, it's not hoodie weather right now, but all through the rest of the year when it's wintertime, I wear that all the time. So I like the Try the Parks merch better than the Ironman merch, but don't tell anyone that. So if you're looking for presents, whatever. So that's kind of everything I've prepared, but we got lots and lots more time to answer any questions you have. So if you want to raise your hand, type it in the chat, or just come off on mute. I'm happy to answer anything. Podium Multisports, that's on Zonolite. Man, you're gonna quiz me on the location. Hold on.
The address is on our website, or the link to the address is on our website.
We're just gonna Google it right now. And if you can't type like me, you'll misspell it. Yes, it is on Zonolite. That is right. 10 points for knowing their address. so yeah, that's where it is, and they're great.
Hey, question for Alex or Ben or both.
Yes, James.
I'll be doing the duathlon. So is the start for the duathlon sort of near where the swim start is, or where kind of in that general area, or how's that going to be handled?
The start for the swim, or sorry, for the duathlon will be down by the boat ramp. So it will be where the swimmers normally come in to
Okay.
transition. So you'll
Okay.
start there, you'll run out, and then you'll come back the exact same way and run directly into transition with
Perfect.
the
Okay.
swimmers.
And
Great.
you'll do the run, you'll do the bike, and then you'll do the run again.
Yep.
Yep.
So we'll
Awesome.
still be out there when everyone else is drinking beer.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You won't be the only one out there.
All right. Thanks.
Yes. So Robert asked a question in chat. You can pick up your packet on Thursday at Podium Multi-Store, or you can pick it up race morning. And honestly, that's easy. You just grab it and they're ready to hand them out. So yeah, you can pick them up next day. In the packet, there is stickers for your bike, a sticker for your helmet, and then the square race number that you use with your belt. There will be a swim cap. There will be some safety pins if you want them. And then there'll be like a one sheet page of like the race info and the course, and then usually a one page of like comment, like from the referee, like common things. Ben, is there anything else in the race packet?
The t-shirt.
Yeah.
I don't think we have any other giveaways this race.
Yeah.
We do also have packet pickup on Friday at the park from 1 to 6. So you could come up and actually check out the park. We'll point you in the direction. You'll be able to see the preliminary setup of the swim, and we'll have most of it marked out, hopefully by 3 or 4 in the afternoon. But
yeah. Hit some other questions from Davis. If you missed anything about the call, I'm going to put this on YouTube right after. We'll send out the link so you can go back and listen to things. Yeah, Friday you can pick it up at the site in the afternoon from 1 to 6. All right, Doug asked what usually happens if you have a mechanical issue on the bike part. So there is no bike techs, like there's no one riding around with motorcycles to help people. So you are asked to be self-sufficient. Ideally, you have like a patch kit or extra tube and you know how to change it. If you just totally are totally out of luck, you can call out the other people going by like, hey, I need help. And ideally they'll come in and they'll say, hey, Ben, race director, someone's on mile 8 and they're totally out of business. And then, we'll send a truck to go help, or
we have a truck patrolling the entirety of the bike course all
Nice.
the time. And we also have a motorcycle with a referee, and then they can relay information between the sheriffs and the referees as well.
Yeah. So ideally you're self-sufficient and it's, you'll be able to get back and going. But if something really happens, we'll get you something, or, if there's a crash, heaven forbid, or something like that. So, for the duathlon, it is the same run course for the first and second. Sometimes for these races, the first run will be like backwards, and then the second run will be forwards. But since it's an outback, like you do the same thing twice. Should you put on the sticker on your bike beforehand? Where does it go on the bike? So the sticker is really just like it. The idea is so that people can see, especially the referees. And so if you were to get a penalty, they say, oh, hey, that's bike number 50. I'm going to mark down, person number 50 got a penalty. So it needs to be visible. You can put it a one-piece sticker, so you could put it over the top tube and kind of fold it over. You could put it over the seat tube. I like to cut it and then put it like on each side of my frame. So kind of whatever. And when you get there, you'll see like lots of stickers on bikes. And if that's really bugging you, shoot me a message and I'll shoot you a picture of where I put it. So it's not a big deal as long as it's visible and you're not trying to hide it. I don't know. For the swim, are the rules about how to go around the buoys at the turn? For instance, do you have to go around the outside of the buoy? So yes, you have to swim So it's 2 right turns, and you need to stay on the left of the buoy. So here's the buoy, and we're going to stay around it. And I mean, you can do whatever. You can do like fancy, like backwards turns or whatever. As long as you go around the buoy, you're good to go. There might be smaller sighting buoys. Ben, is there sighting buoys? Okay.
There are sighting buoys down that long stretch. Just, we generally say keep all the buoys on your right.
Yeah, keep all your buoys on the right. That way you're not cutting corners or anything. Let's see. Headphones are not allowed at any point, and that's a USA Triathlon rule for safety. I know it'd be cool to like jam out the tunes, but definitely not on the bike and run. And I guess they have them for swim now, but not then either. So none of that. Hydration vests on the bike and run, absolutely allowed. It should get pretty toasty, especially on the run. So potentially a good idea. It is on the shorter side, so I don't know if you'd see a lot of people, but yeah, that is allowed. Will the swim course be closed to boats? Yeah, like there will be like safety personnel around the course, and that keeps, Lake Lanier boaters away. Normally, I don't, rarely do you see other like recreational boats, and they stay far away. So that's not an issue. Wearing a wetsuit, if temps high 60s, low 70s, it's more likely you'll get too hot versus bending from the buoyancy. So I'm of the school of thought, if wetsuits are legal, then wear it no matter what. But I also don't overheat very easy. And usually that's why wetsuits become not allowed over a certain temperature, because, it does get too hot potentially. So if it's below the cutoff, I'd recommend wearing it. If you have it, it'll save you a little bit. It's also a short swim, so it's not a huge deal. So it's not going to save you minutes. It might save you, 10, 15 seconds, depending on your swim or whatever. So if you're on the fence, like, I might overheat, then just don't wear it. It's not a big deal. This is a short race. There is no bike cutoff time. I know like 70.3s and Ironmans have like bike cutoffs. It's a 14-mile bike, so take as long as you need. If you're going to be like 5 or 6 hours, I don't know, we might come looking for you, but
yeah, we'll have somebody checking on the last bike. We may have to, due to the lane closure, cut off the run if you came in too late. And this is something we don't like to have to do, but unfortunately, just because of lane closure, we won't be able to keep it past 11.
Yeah. Okay. So the run, the lane, we have sheriffs holding the lane open to 11. So done by then. You're starting at 8, 3 hours. I think.
Actually, I take that back. I think it's 11:30 when they come off. But
well,
we will do everything we can to get you in a place where you can finish the race. So.
Yeah. And I believe there is a number for your helmet, right? You just
yes.
Throw it right there on the top of your helmet. And yeah, swimming yesterday, it was pretty warm. So yeah, depending where it is, how much it rains, but it's likely to not be wetsuit legal, although it is sometimes. So other questions?
The lake, as far as waves are concerned, unless we get a really windy day, there's very little boat traffic, if any, other than what we've got there by the time the swim is over. And unfortunately, we can't control the wind. It does come down that long straight chute that they use for rowing. So it's gotten choppy once, but I wouldn't say it's a big concern.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty mild. Even for Lake Lanier. Lake Lanier can get waves certain places. So, all right. Well, I will call it there. If you have additional questions, hit me up on Instagram, or you can shoot me an email, atfuller@gmail. Happy to answer anything. Thank you guys so much for joining. It's going to be a great race on Saturday. It's very, very, this is a great experience, very beginner friendly. And if you're like, oh man, this is my first one, I'm super nervous, I get it. I've been there. I get nervous about every race still, but this is just a fun experience. So have a great time. Hit me up and let me know how it goes. And good luck. And Ben, thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
Hopefully we'll see you soon.
See ya.
Thank you.